This is a tutorial covering GameMaker and how you use variables to basically determine what your game does and to control your game. So this example is going to be pretty simple. In fact, it's about as simple as you can get. I'm just going to first show you the setup that I have, and if you're a complete newcomer and you know nothing about the interface, I would recommend you first learn the interface itself of GameMaker. But what we have here are two sprites. The first one is SPR_player. It's just a red circle. That's all it is. It's marked as transparent. And the other one is it's called SPR_bullet. This one is just sort of it's like a weird moon shape. It's a blue moon. So these are the only two sprites we're going to use for this example. They're both transparent. And we have two objects. The first one is OBJ_player. This just has the player sprite. It has no events or actions. And the bullet, OBJ_bullet, is the same way. It has the bullet sprite but no events or actions. The first thing I want you to do is right-click rooms, click create room, and then just create just a blank room just with the default properties. And let's just throw in a player object, put him right in the center of the room like that. You can even put him up just a little bit because the bullet's going to be traveling downwards. So now what we want to do here is just go ahead and click this check mark. We're not going to need to come back to this room again. And double click OBJ_player to pull up the player object properties. I'm going to drag this thing to expand the box. So we're going to do all of our work in here. Because this is going to be a simple example, I'm just going to do pure drag and drop. What we're first going to do here is we're going to click add event. It's right here near the bottom. And then click create. Now the create event happens only one time, and it's just when this object is created. So what we're going to do is over here on the right side of the window, click the Control tab, and in the Variables section right here, if you hover your mouse over it, well, it normally comes up with the tooltip, but it might be because I'm recording, but it's sort of the gray variable box. It says VAR. Hold down, click, drag it into this section. You'll see a box here that says Set Variable. Now, even though it says Set Variable, we're actually going to go ahead and create a brand new one. So the variable name, we're just going to type ammo, and we're going to set it to 5. Just type in 5 for value. Leave relative unchecked. Relative is just if you want to decrease it or increase it. So click OK. And in the create event, it should say set variable ammo to 5. Now what we're going to do is click add event again, and let's say we're going to use the control key. So click key press, then find CTRL, select it. Now we have a press CTRL event. Now in this event, this is where our programming is going to come into effect here. So with the control tab still selected, hold down, it's sort of this octagon variable symbol. Hold down, click on that, and drag it in here. Now what we're going to do, this is what's called an if statement. Basically, if something is true, something will happen. So we're going to type the variable ammo. So it's saying if ammo is, notice the operation equal to. So if ammo is equal to 0, but this is not what we're wanting. Let's say we're going to make it if ammo is larger than 0. Let's just do this. If ammo is larger than 0, click OK. Then click the main 1 tab right here in the object section. Hold down, left click on this light bulb and drag it just underneath what we've added. And then what this will do is this is going to create an instance of our bullet object. So where it says object, click right here and click object underscore bullet to select it. And this time you'll want to click relative. The reason for this, without relative unchecked, it would refer to the location x0, y0, which is like the upper left hand corner of the screen, pretty much. But if you have relative checked, it's relative to the player's x and y position. So instead of 0, 0 being the upper left hand corner, now 0, 0 is referring to the player's, basically like it's like the center of the player. So it's going to be the center of our SPR player or OBJ player. This is where it's going to be created. Click OK. And also what we're going to do here, click the Control tab again, and then hold down click on this square, this gray square variable like we did before earlier. Drag it over, and this is where relative is going to come into play. We're going to type the variable, we're going to type ammo again. We're referring to ammo, and instead of setting it to a value, we're actually going to decrease it by a value. So we're going to type -1, and we're going to check relative. Now what this does, I'm going to explain how this works. We're saying take ammo, take the variable of ammo and its value, and -1. So because we have relative checked, it's like taking ammo and then just subtracting 1 from it. If we did not have relative checked, what this would do is it would actually set ammo to the value of -1 rather than subtracting 1 from it, which is not what we want to do. We want to subtract 1 from it, so make sure relative is selected. Click it, and then click OK. Because we have more than one action here underneath this if statement, underneath the octagon-like symbol, we're going to have to use what are called blocks. These are these triangle symbols. So drag it just underneath the if statement to start the block. It's the up pointing triangle, and then use the down pointing triangle to drag it at the very bottom of your number of statements here. And what this does, basically, it says if ammo is larger than 0, perform these actions within the start and end blocks, or between the two triangles. So when we press CTRL, first it checks if ammo is larger than 0. If it is, it does this. If not, it does nothing, because there's nothing else that we have in here. So click OK. And the last thing actually we're going to do here is double click obj underscore bullet, click add event, click create, and when this is created, we're going to while you're on the default move tab, hold down click on this. It's like the red multiple pointing triangles in all directions. Drag it into this blank actions box. Click the down arrow and just set it to a speed of like 5. So when the bullet is created, it immediately begins moving downwards. Then click add event, click other right here, and then outside room, and then click the main 1 tab. You'll see sort of a recycle bin symbol. Hold down click on it, drag it over, then click OK. What this says is when this bullet travels outside the room, just destroy it, delete it, because we don't need it anymore. And this create event, like I said earlier, when it's created, it begins moving downwards. You'll notice that in our room, we just have the player, we don't have any bullets, but that's because we don't need them, because when the CTRL key is pressed, as long as ammo is greater than 0, a bullet will be created on the player's relative 0, 0, XY position, which is about where my cursor's at, and then it will begin moving downwards, and it'll eventually go out of the room and be deleted. So to see what we've done now, let's go ahead and click the green arrow to begin the game. It'll open it up here in the window. Yeah, you can see my sound editing application running here. And so here's our game. Now watch what happens when I press CTRL. There goes our bullet. Let's press it again. There goes another one. But remember that we have an ammo variable. Eventually it's not going to work. I'm going to press it again. There goes another one. I'm going to press it again. There goes another one. I'm going to press it again. There goes another one. I'm going to press it one more time. Nothing's happening. I'm pressing it now. I'm actually tapping it repeatedly. You probably can't hear it, but nothing's happening. That's because their variable has reached 0, and because it knows it's not greater than 0, nothing is happening.